So how much land do you actually need to build a poultry farm? Now, interestingly, I find this question very common a lot in the comments of my videos. And earlier on, I thought it was like quite obvious, but right now I understand why people would be asking such a question. And so in today's video, I'm hoping to, be answering it, and hopefully by the end of the video, you guys will have understood the principles of the size of land that you require to construct and build a poultry farm. Now, if you guys might see in the background over here, I have some chicken houses, yeah? So I have 1, 2 chicken houses in the background and a 3rd chicken house right here. Now, I have a lot of space on this farm right here. I mean, if I start to move around, you'll notice that, there is quite a lot of space on this farm, yeah? And the farm is currently about 2.8 acres, this exact farm, and currently I do have about 7,500 birds currently on the farm. And then I also have another chicken structure which is owned by me but is not on my land. So it is on my dad's land, yeah? And by my dad's land, I'm not talking about like too much land. I'm talking about, it's about on a 1/3 of an acre, like this place that is fenced. But in itself, the chicken house only measures 8 meters by 15 meters. That is all that it measures. So realistically speaking, we can say that for that farm, it's on a plot of 8 meters by 15 meters. But of course, with the surrounding and all those things around, you don't really need a 1/3 of an acre. Now, when I was starting out, of course, I didn't have land. I didn't have money to buy land, of course, at that particular point. I can't even think about it right now. Like, every time I think about it, I'm like, whoa, can you imagine? I would have had to pay, I don't know how much money for me to actually buy land at that point, and there is no way I would have gotten that amount of money to buy land at that particular time, yeah? But right now, I can afford land, yeah? I have quite an amount of land all around, so I can afford land in multiple areas, and I've managed to expand the farm. But even when I started with my 800 chickens, I had started the farm on a very small plot of land, yeah? Now, realistically speaking, for someone who is just starting out, you don't have money for land, or you have your small plot somewhere, what is practical? What is practical for you? What amount of land is practical for you? Let's dive right into that. Now, the first thing that I want you to understand is that the character of the land is very important when you're deciding on building a chicken house or starting a poultry farm. The character of the land is very important. You need to make sure that the land is not in a swampy place. You also need to make sure, the land is not on a very steep hill, very, very steep hill. I own a hill somewhere where I do have goats and sheep, yeah, and it's really steep, like the inclination is really, really steep. Climbing it is a dance, yeah, really, really steep. Now, building a chicken house there could be okay. I've seen poultry farms that are on hills, but it would be very, very expensive. And if you're someone who is talking about land and all this kind of stuff, I can imagine that money is already a problem for you. Yeah, if you're trying to figure out how much land do I need to start, money is already a problem for you. Yeah, so the inclination or the steepness of the land is very, very important. You want to make sure that you build the farm on a piece of land that's not so steep. If it's so steep, constructing is going to be expensive. You have to cut out piece of the rock or the soil or whatever it is to flatten the area to build the house there. Then taking raw materials, moving around. If you guys can see, there's some trays of eggs right here. Someone has just gotten, they're in the grass right here, yeah? So someone just picked the eggs from this chicken house and they placed them down here, yeah? And, we keep taking them over there. We have a small shed in the distance where we go and clean them from, just make sure everything is all right, yeah? But we pick the eggs from inside here. The guys just keep moving around with trays of eggs and things like that. We have a tuk-tuk that also moves around. So on a very steep piece of land, that would be very, very complicated. So you want to make sure that, first of all, the place is flat. Also, you want to make sure that it's not like a swamp, so it's well drained. It's not like a place where water is logging over there. It's well drained, and it's something that can easily be utilized for you, to build over there. Now, the other thing that you want to make sure is that when you're getting your land, it's not like in a proper urban setting, like, a real urban setting. Those are not just nice places for farms, yeah? Chickens make noise. If you guys can hear, you can already hear that chickens are making noise, yeah? Now, of course, my microphone silences the noises in the background, but if I just went closer to the chicken house, I'll just carry my microphone right here, yeah, and get close to a chicken house and just keep quiet. You guys are going to hear it. Yeah, so I'm really hoping you guys have had that, yeah? So that's like You know, the chicken house, chickens make noise, they make noise, and it's not just one house, it's many houses, multiple houses. So if you have neighbors around the area and all that kind of stuff, they're going to complain for you. I mean, when it does come to raising chickens, there's still a lot of like managerial things that you have to deal with. Now, in addition to dealing with that, you don't want to also add, you know, problems of, you know, neighbors. Yeah, you don't want to add neighbors amongst your problems, right? Luckily enough, I haven't had such issues thus far. Yeah, so you don't want that to also be amongst the problems you want to deal with. You have to keep, you know, as many of those problems away from your farm as possible. So if you can build your farm in a place which is, you know, a bit isolated, not like a proper urban setting. Yeah, also, as you can see, the houses are open on the side and they produce a smell, a bit of a smell. It's not like very smelly, but they'll produce some form of smell. Yeah, it's not like super smelly, but I mean, in an urban setting, everyone will certainly notice it. So you want to make sure that, you know, you don't have such issues. So don't place your farm in an urban setting. The other problem with a proper urban setting is that it just minimizes your chances of expansion. Yeah, so you want to expand, you won't be able to expand as well. You certainly won't be able to expand as well. So you want to also make sure that you give yourself a chance, an opportunity. For example, for me right here, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, you know, let's just move there. But for me right here, just recently, I've been able to expand. Yeah, I've been able to expand. We'll just move to the back. So this is, you know, the chicken houses right here. And again, this is our sick bay right here. So I'll just move in between it. And I mean, we have some sugar canes over here and things like that. And I just bought a piece of land next to me right here. Yeah, so about an acre. You can see the land that has been tilled. All this land that has been tilled. The other side, which is not tilled, is not mine, but I'm hoping to acquire it too soon. But I just bought it, I mean, a while back, right here. That's an acre that I've managed to expand into. Yeah, so that means that if I want to grow my project and expand the project, I can put more chicken houses over there and expand the farm and, you know, do more stuff right there, simply because I have the alternative and have the option. Now, after I've considered those factors, yeah, and your farm is not in a really steep place or not in a swampy place, it's really on a flat area or, you know, gentle sloping area, then you have room for expansion. It's not in a city setting. Everything else really doesn't matter. Yeah, you can start with as small a piece of land as you require. So the piece of land will really depend on how much available resources you have and what system you're utilizing to raise your chickens. For me, as you can see, I'm using deep litter system to raise my chickens. So if you're using deep litter system to raise your chickens, if you're doing layers, which are the ones that are going to take the biggest space, you need to do 6 birds per square meter. If you're doing broilers, it's about 10 to 12 birds per square meter, depending on the weather, the climate, or of wherever you are. You know, 10 to 12 birds per square meter. If you're using cages, then it will depend on the exact type of cages you're using. There are the H-type cages, there are the A-type cages, and you know, there are those of 2 tiers, 3 tiers, 4 tiers. So it will depend on the system that you're using. Whoever is supplying you with the cages should be able to tell you the dimensions of the chicken house that you want to build, and then that will determine the size of land that you do need to acquire. The thing that you need to pay keen attention to is to remember that you probably need space for not only a chicken house, but a space for where the guys are going to sleep, and also a space for the feed meal, where you're going to be mixing the feed from. And also you want to keep your chicken house at least 5 meters from the fence, you know, from your perimeter fence, from your wall. Yeah, you want to keep your chicken house at least that distance from the wall. That will be very good and very important for you to provide biosecurity and to prevent diseases from being introduced on the farm. So yeah, once you do have that, really the size of the land doesn't matter. The most important thing is that you should know that, you know, at some point you're probably going to need to expand. So have your farm in a place where you have possible land for expansion, for you to be able, you know, to spread out, expand into other areas, and actually still, you know, have something meaningful going on around the farm. And in case you haven't heard, we have the Farm Up Academy running. So if you're someone who wants to start and build a profitable poultry farm, just like me, I mean, I started from nothing. I was just working as a doctor. I started from nothing. Right now, I resigned from my job as a medical doctor. I'm running multiple farms. Actually, I'm owning and running multiple farms, and they're bringing me, you know, quite a healthy amount of money in my pocket. So you want to start and build your profitable poultry farm, put in place proper systems to ensure that it can run from anywhere. You know, you can run it from anywhere, be comfortable. You can work on a Sunday, on a Monday, any day that you want, and you can be away from the farm any day that you want. Set in place the correct thing that will get you the best results. Then the Farm Up Academy is the perfect place for you. Right there, it's an online academy, so we have, you know, a full course module, anything you can ever need to understand about starting and managing and running a farm, whether it's feed mixing, preventing diseases, and all that kind of stuff. But in addition to that, you get access to a Farm Up community, and also you have live sessions with me where you can get to ask questions and anything to do with your farm. So I'll leave a link to the Farm Up Academy in the description below. below. Just check it out. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, smash the notification bell. That way you never miss out on an upload. Catch you very soon with another video. Lots of love. Bye-bye.